Picture this, it's the summer of 1964, and the island of Cyprus is an absolute powder keg. Tensions had reached a boiling point, and you have this besieged community desperately holding out against totally overwhelming odds. Out of this chaotic, deeply critical geopolitical crisis emerges a story of unbelievable bravery, intense duty, and ultimately unimaginable tragedy. Today, we're going to explore the dramatic events of the Cengiz resistance and the profound sacrifice of a pilot whose name would be forever etched into history, Captain Cengiz Topel. Now, before we dive into exactly how this whole crisis unfolded, do make sure to like this explainer and subscribe to the channel. Your support is what ensures you don't miss stories like this one, and it really helps us keep bringing these vital pieces of history directly to you. So to really grasp the gravity of this moment, we have to look back at the collapse of the 1960 Constitution of Cyprus. Starting in December 1963, Turkish Cypriot communities found themselves systematically attacked and completely surrounded. By August of 1964, the Turkish resistance at the Cengiz or Kokana coastal strip had reached a breaking point. It was literally make or break. Greek Cypriot National Guard forces launched a massive, intense land and sea offensive to capture Cengiz entirely. The United Nations peacekeeping force couldn't halt the violence, and a massacre seemed completely imminent. The man called upon to intervene in this desperate hour was Captain Cengiz Topel. Born in Izmit in 1934, he essentially dedicated his entire life to the skies. He graduated from the Air War College in 1955 as a highly skilled, incredibly dedicated aviator. By 1961, he was deployed to the first main jet base over in Eskişehir, and he earned his promotion to captain in 1963. He was just one of those deeply devoted pilots, stepping up into a leadership role right at the exact moment his country needed him the most. And that need arrived on August 8, 1964. Turkey made the unprecedented decision to launch an independent air operation. Captain Topel led a flight of 4 F-100 Super Sabre jets right out of Eskişehir. Their objective was clear: neutralize the gunboats and artillery positions that were bombarding the besieged civilians in Cengiz. So they arrive over the Cyprus skies around 5 p.m., and Topel goes into his second dive toward a military target. Suddenly, the sky just erupts. His jet takes a direct hit from 40mm anti-aircraft fire and instantly bursts into flames. Forced to eject, Topel deploys his parachute. Now, this is a really crucial detail, and it gets misunderstood a lot in the chaos of war. Captain Topel did not die in the crash. He successfully ejected from his burning aircraft, floated down, and landed safely on an asphalt road near a settlement we know today as Cengiz. He survived the combat engagement. He was alive on the ground right in enemy territory. Section 2. Captivity and Tragedy. History often leaves us with starkly contrasting accounts. And this is where the story gets incredibly heavy. The official statement from the Greek Cypriot side claimed that Captain Topel was captured wounded, taken to a hospital for treatment, and passed away from his injuries the following day, August 9th. However, the Turkish government, alongside international observers, uncovered a vastly different reality based on the physical evidence they eventually recovered. On the night of August 11th, Topel's body was returned through the United Nations. An autopsy was immediately conducted by Turkish doctors, but they were accompanied by foreign experts and UN observers. The resulting medical report documented severe torture. The findings included the destruction of his left eye, drill holes on his biceps, severe mutilation, nails actually driven into his skull, and deep incisions. The medical experts concluded that these injuries were not from an aircraft ejection. They were the clear result of intentional brutality during his captivity. The weight of history is so often carried in these really dark moments. Preserving the unfiltered truth of these events, as difficult it is to hear, is exactly why we create these explainers. If you value understanding the full scope of historical memory, please take a brief moment to subscribe to our channel. Following some incredibly intense diplomatic efforts, Topel's body was returned to a grieving nation on August 12th. And what followed was a scale of national mourning that was completely unprecedented. Ceremonies were held in Cyprus, and then his casket was flown to Adana, onward to the capital in Ankara, and finally to Istanbul. Millions, literally millions, of citizens lined the streets in profound silence and respect. On August 14, 1964, he was finally laid to rest at the Air Martyrs Cemetery. With that, Captain Cengiz Topel became the Turkish Republic's very first air war martyr. He was also the first combat pilot lost by the nation since the Korean War. His name instantly became a powerful symbol of ultimate sacrifice and unwavering duty. And his sacrifice had immediate, lasting impacts. His squadron's intervention actually successfully broke that intense siege, saving Cengiz from falling. The operation proved without a doubt that Turkey was willing and able to exercise its military guarantor rights to protect civilians. That reality heavily deterred further escalation in later crises like the ones in 1967 and 1974. Today, his legacy lives on physically. You'll find his name gracing monuments, like the really striking memorial in Lefke, as well as countless schools, avenues, and parks all across Turkey and northern Cyprus. So we're going to conclude today's explainer with a vital question for you. How does the memory of a single sacrifice shape the destiny and resolve of an entire nation? Captain Cengiz Topel's story is a harrowing reminder of the true cost of conflict, but it also demonstrates the enduring power of historical memory to unify and define a people. Thank you so much for joining me to explore this profound piece of history. Take a moment to reflect on that question, and I'll see you in the next explainer.